Welcome back to the KickNPost YouTube channel and podcast. It's your host, Amal Thompson and Matt Avila, and welcome back to Teal and Steel, episode 12, week 13, going into 14 of the NFL season, because, we cover week 13, but week 14 is officially started. We're recording this on Friday. Had a big Thursday night game.
Let's dive into that.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be boring.
We normally kind of start off with the Steelers and the Jags, but we just saw this atrocity of a game on Thursday. We got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Let me hear your thoughts.
So, I was on PrizePicks. Now, let me not even start there. It was supposed to be an easy win for the Raiders.
Is any win easy for them?
Clearly not. The Rams were reeling. So, no Matt Stafford. John Wofford, I think, coming off injury. Bryce Perkins got benched. Signed Baker Mayfield off the waiver pile.
On Tuesday.
Only person that tried to get Baker Mayfield off waivers. He enters the building on Tuesday. They have no practice. He wears a game day jersey before a practice jersey. I don't know if that's happened in the history of any team where somebody gets picked up and plays in a game before even putting on the practice jersey. But it happened. Gets in there. Not first drive. They play John Warford first drive, which you have a take on that. I need to hear that soon. But he gets in there, and the game's ugly.
Yeah.
Awful, right? And the Raiders are running away with it first half. Devontae Adams is him. We already knew this, but Jalen Ramsey learned that the first half of the game as well. Could not do anything, really, to stop Devontae Adams.
Nothing, really.
And they didn't really go to Devontae Adams that much either, which was also like,
Which kind of leads to the main reason why this game was pathetic, just to watch from the Raiders' perspective. They started off first quarter probably as good as you can get. Second quarter was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Third quarter, they just were like, they just didn't try. And I admit, the Rams were pretty much like they're barely a football team in my mind. Barely. They literally started a quarterback that got signed 2 days ago.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. And to see that happen, to see the Raiders just not push on the gas, their play calling was atrocious. They defensively and offensively. And it's a shame. And you're right, that coach, if he has a job by Monday.
So this is Josh McDaniels' second time around trying to be a head coach. And Denver he flamed out pretty quickly in Denver. And everybody was like singing his praises for going to the Raiders and everybody coming there, Devontae Adams coming there. Derek Carr was, serviceable at the quarterback position. Everybody thought that, he's had huge passing years. All he needs is the right scheme. Obviously, this team is missing Darren Waller. I don't think that should be that much of an influence on how they look because you have Devontae Adams, but, Darren Waller is a huge weapon to miss.
Yeah, he's
Hunter Renfrow, been missing for a bit. That's a huge weapon to miss. Again, my stance on people on the depth chart, if your third receiver is having to play second fiddle and then your fourth receiver is having to get on the field, like guys who shouldn't be playing is getting on the field, I could see how it could mess up your offense a bit. But when you're playing the other team's practice squad, essentially.
Pretty much.
No Aaron Donald.
We're joking, but really, honestly, it's the practice squad. So
the defense still had Jalen Ramsey, still had Bobby Wagner. That's why you go get all these guys. But on offense, you had to worry about Baker on 2 days in the system. Literally reading the playbook on the plane over.
Yeah.
Ben Skoranek, which we already know he's Cooper Kupp 2.0. We knew as soon as Cooper Kupp went out, this man was going to do his thing.
And honestly, he actually doesn't look that bad.
No.
No, don't get me wrong. He's not a wide receiver 1, not even a wide receiver 2. But if you have him for your wide receiver 3, I don't think he's not
That's still an ugly team. But yeah.
It's still a little ugly. Okay, but maybe like fourth. Like if you're fourth receiver.
If you're in a 20-team league and he's your wide receiver 3, then yeah, you're doing something. Yeah. Ben Skoranek.
Yeah,
Van Jefferson.
No, you're right. Jefferson is better. Like I said, that it was just an awful showing. Play calling. What really surprised me, though, was the fourth quarter play calling on defense for the Raiders. I don't know if you noticed, but they have who at corner? And they think that they can just do press man, but they forgot to press. What are we doing? If you're going to get up there, if you're going to get lined up on the line, you got to get hands. You got to. Try. Attempt. These guys literally
Van Jefferson ran the easiest route I've ever seen.
Literally.
Like, he just ran on the inside of the DB. And Baker, beautiful pass, by the way.
Yeah.
He had some good passes
You know what?
in there.
I want to take this moment right here to say this. And I haven't heard Amal's stance on how Baker Mayfield played. There's a couple things I want to say. First of all, I want to give him some props. That is incredibly difficult to do. And I don't care what people say. Sean McVay was in his ear. The Raiders have an awful defense. I don't care. You're going up against an NFL team into a pretty complicated offense. It's not a simple offense that they have in LA. I'm sure they simplified it, but it's not a simple concept.
And it had Jared Goff throwing for like 5,000 yards. So
did he have 2 days to prepare?
No, I'm just saying, like, obviously.
And I'm not even going to take that Jared Goff disrespect right now either. But anyways, Baker Mayfield just did this 2 days of heads up. At the end of the game, everybody's celebrating and everything. Baker literally was like, "Wait, now where do I go?" Literally said that. Where do I go now? He don't even know. He won the game and he doesn't even know how to exit. So this happened. That's incredibly impressive. Props to Baker Mayfield. He had some really good throws in there. Really impressive throws. And that looked really good. And to have
pressure in his face too in a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean Max Crosby had a game. And who was the other guy on the other side? Is it not Chandler? Is it Chandler Jones?
I don't know if he's healthy, but he's supposed to be.
He played, and I mean those are still two big guys that put a lot of pressure on him. And for him to go there and do so well, hit guys on the mark with no time to prep, I mean it just tells me a little something about Baker. But after all that, I will say this: I pulled up Snapchat before we started. I went to the right side and to discover first pages. Baker Mayfield is back. He's our guy. He's that guy. Look, this was an impressive game, and I do think if he kind of continues this path a little bit, I can see him next year with Matthew Stafford's obviously going to come back. So I'm assuming this is really just going to be like.
Is it obvious though?
Is it? I honestly don't know.
I was about to say.
I honestly have no idea. But whatever the case may be, I think Baker has already started his ability to be able to get another chance. And shout out to him, but I don't think he's there yet. I want to still see more. But that's I don't think I've ever seen something like that. Has that ever happened in the NFL?
Two days practice.
2 days practice as a QB though.
No.
That's impressive.
I don't think so.
That's impressive.
You know he does have a first. He's the first quarterback to start his first start for two different teams. He came back from double digits down and won the game. First in NFL history. That's impressive.
That's impressive, and I just wanted to give him some props. And like I said, I'm not on the boat of he's the answer. He's gonna be.
I thought things had to break right for him. Like I don't know if you saw that penalty. It was a penalty, but it took a Raiders player slapping the ball out of his hand post whistle, which makes no sense why he did it. I know everybody's mad that it got called. It's a penalty.
No, that's a penalty.
It's a penalty. It got called.
That's going to get called.
I apologize that you guys are all upset that it was a soft one, but it is a penalty.
I mean, don't hate on the refs. Hate on the player for doing that. Why would you do that in a situation? Hate on the coaching. That bad things like that show a lot of signs of bad coaching. Yeah. When players are continuously finding reasons why to lose, that's how you know you just have a team or a coach that's not coaching correctly. But yeah, I just wanted to give Baker some props. What did you think, or what are your thoughts about Baker and how he did?
The other part of the game was shaky, obviously. First drive, of course, throwing some short balls. You haven't really played with these guys. But he kept drives alive. He got them their first points on the board with the 3 points. It wasn't immediate 3 and outs. He was taking a little bit of time off the clock, so it wasn't just getting the ball back into Oakland's hands.
Did he have a turnover?
Not Oakland, Las Vegas. No.
No turnovers.
He kept the ball, too. He didn't give him any easy opportunities. Crazy. That is crazy on 2 days practice. Not like them being on opposite pages, like Skronik running a slant, and then he throws like an outright or something. That could have easily happened. None of that happened. There was a little bit of short passing, but pretty much for the most part, he was in control of how the offense was being run. He was actually checking at the line, too. Like, he was doing a lot of stuff that wasn't just like, I'm in here running the basics. It wasn't like handoff city. They were doing stuff with Baker. Vegas made it easy in terms of how they were calling plays. Devontae Adams went 3 for 71 with 7 targets. I feel like he should have been like 17 targets. He was eating.
Eating?
Yeah.
How many targets did he have?
7.
Yeah, he should have one.
He ended the first half, I think, with like 4. 3 targets in the second half? Really?
Way too passive.
I don't get that.
Just kept on trying to feed Jacobs, which I get. But at the same time, like that shouldn't be.
The man legit like broke his hand.
Literally.
I don't know if it got confirmed. I haven't checked.
And they just kept on giving it to him.
But I looked, and this man was in severe pain at any touch on his hand. And what do?
Just kept on feeding him.
Handoffs. And then when it's passes to him, where he still has to stick his hand out to stop tackles. Nothing to protect the guy from himself. And I get it. It's a contract year. You want your money. You don't want to seem like you're fragile. In previous years, he's gotten the tag of, if he's hurt, he's not going to play. You've done enough this game. 17 for 85 yards, a rushing touchdown already, couple receptions. Y'all are in the lead. Utilize the other guy that you got from Green Bay and paid a ton of money. He's as good as a run play sometimes. Just have him run slants. I don't know.
Pretty much.
I'm not a coach.
Honestly, you could just give him a screen and he'll probably make something work. So.
Exactly. I'm not a coach. But utilize the other healthy guy that you're paying millions of dollars. Anyway, the game starts shifting, obviously, where the Raiders are the 3-and-out team or the extended drives with nothing else happening. And the Rams start building momentum. And Josh McDaniels just doesn't see it.
No, he's just clueless to it.
He's still trying to push the clock. I've never seen somebody try to run out 30 minutes of clock in a game before. It's mind-boggling. I've never watched the second half and be like, this man is literally running chew clock on Madden at the start of the second half.
Even Matt Collins. Maybe not a lot of people know him. He
was
eating.
Yeah.
When they handed the ball to him, he did it 2 or 3 times?
So they had an edge guy who was out of position because of injuries. Dude, I guess, is 300 pounds. Is not a good athlete out there. Literally, they wouldn't even have to, do too much to trick him. If you got in his face and made a move, he didn't have the lateral movement to keep up with anybody. So Jacobs burned him early in the first half on that. Matt Collins burned him early in the first half on that. You could have kept bullying that side of the field.
You could have kept on doing that. You could have had Devontae Adams do that. You could have anybody really do that. And they didn't.
I didn't see Derek Carr under duress for much of the game. It's not like the pocket was collapsing and he couldn't pass.
And I don't even want to blame Derek Carr because it's like...
You did have bad throw for a pick.
When you're the second half of the game and you're running the ball 99%, 95% of the time, I don't blame him too much. How are you supposed to have rhythm when you're never throwing the ball? How are you supposed to have rhythm when you're just giving it to Josh Jacobs all the time? And you're going drives, so maybe throwing one pass because all you're doing is running the ball. So I have a hard time blaming him. Yeah, that pick that he threw was pretty bad. I don't know why he threw that. I know he got hit, but take the sack. He's a vet. He should know just to take the sack. But he threw the pick. But I know you said you were curious about my take on the what's his name? Bryce Perkins starting?
Not Bryce Perkins.
Or what's the other guy's name?
John Wofford. Yeah, them getting him in there for one series.
I mean, it's not that I have a take on it. I just think that they wanted everything to be. They wanted all the crowd to get involved. Everybody was all hyped and everything. So the first drive, they just handed the ball, and then they're like, okay, everything's settled. Now let's put Baker in. I thought that was incredibly smart. I was really, if that's the reason, I was really impressed with that idea. I mean, you have this new quarterback that you're about to put out on the field after 2 days after signing them. He's going to go hear all this noise and everybody yelling and screaming. It's the beginning of the game. He got to see a whole drive.
To keep him.
You get to see a whole drive. He gets to see the defense a little bit. He gets to see his defense and the other team's defense. And then he goes out there on the second drive. I thought that was really smart. I don't know if you see what I'm saying. But
one of my friends said that, what's his name? The coach for the Rams, Sean McVay. He said Sean McVay told all his friends to bet on John Wofford unders, and then got him in there for a series so the bet would still count. I thought that shit was funny because he got in the 3 handoffs and then never saw the field again. I don't know. Baker did a lot of Baker things. There's reasons why Baker went number 1. He throws the ball very well.
Good things. I was like, bro, this man played pretty well.
And I'm saying, there's a reason why Baker is still on people's minds where, if he gets the right shot. There's a reason why went number 1. Always been the guy who, when you count him out, he finds a way. Did that at Texas Tech, was it? No. I know he played for Oklahoma, obviously, but he played somewhere before that. Did you know that? Damn. Yeah, he was a walk-on somewhere else before, then went to Oklahoma.
And maybe it was Texas Tech. I don't know.
You tried my now? That's crazy. Yeah, but he made a way for himself at every stop.
Yeah.
And then to go number 1 in the draft, do what he did for Cleveland, and they kind of, low-key spit in his face. Because, I'm not going to act like he was balling every single year, but they didn't see the playoffs until he got there.
True.
So, something has to be said for that.
To me, Baker is a serviceable quarterback. He's someone that his ceiling is capped. And you can't really ever tell how far he can go. But I think he gets way more disrespect than he deserves. I don't think I've ever been a Baker hater. When the Steelers were looking for a guy, I think we even talked about it. I was like, I'm not against the Steelers taking a shot on Baker.
Yeah, if you could get him for free, because I know it was said that Cleveland would probably waive him. Yeah. But then the Panthers came in and traded for him.
Yeah, so I had no issues with that. Now, I'm not a Baker lover either. I mean, he did come from Oklahoma. I am an Oklahoma fan, so I do have a little bit of a a special place in my heart for him. But at the same time, though, I think he's played very well. In certain times, he's also played very bad. But I feel like in a situation that's kind of like I'm trying to think, maybe like imagine if they didn't have Trey Lance or Jimmy G in the Niners.
I mean, that's where everybody thought he was going to end up when he got waived, but the Niners were too far down on the poll. They didn't even put in a request, but they were so far down. There were teams way ahead of them. The Texans were ahead of them. The Rams were ahead of them. They didn't see him getting that low.
Yeah.
If he had cleared waivers, though, he would have been a Niner, guaranteed.
Yeah. And I think on a team like that, which you may be like, well, any quarterback can really be successful in an offense like that. I think he would have been.
He would have thrived.
I think he would have been solid. I think with those type of receivers, a good offensive line, he is a quarterback. I think you need to get him with a good surrounding cast. I don't think you can put him in Carolina and be like, here, do your thing. There's no who are you going to throw the ball to other than DJ Moore?
And he had a solid supporting cast in Cleveland, but
he did. But then you have OBJ getting hurt.
Jarvis was his main option for a long time. Yeah. Him and OBJ were never on the same page either, though.
And even Jarvis was like kind of in and out sometimes too. So for people to say like, oh, well, he had plenty of help in Cleveland, did he though? Like, yeah, he did on paper, but in practice,
I think if Baker was more vanilla of a person and went later in the draft, he'd be doing a lot better in terms of like how he's seen. Because there's guys.
I think if he went later in the draft, some people would say that he isn't even worth taking a shot on. Because one of the reasons why people will give him chances is because he is a first round pick.
He reminds me very much of a Kirk Cousins type of player.
I think he could be a Kirk Cousins.
But that's the thing. He's not getting the opportunity to be a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. And the thing is I don't know if he ever really will.
Do you think Kirk Cousins is like that?
I think he's solid.
Do you think you could win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins? Because this team now, there's an actual question to be had. They're going to probably end the regular season with 14 wins. Unless something goes really south.
Are you talking about Minnesota?
Yeah. Right? So, unless something goes horribly bad, they'll probably end with about 14 wins. Do you see them as a Super Bowl contender, even with like regular season success like that? Because we've seen the lows of Kirk even this year, where if you're a team that wins 14 games, your quarterback shouldn't have games like we've seen from Kirk this year.
I'm not going to really shame him too much for his games. He has had some bad games, but every quarterback really has some bad games. Even Patrick Mahomes has had questionable games. Maybe not this year. But
nothing like
Kirk. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like we're talking about a generational quarterback and a mid-tier quarterback, and even the generational quarterback has had some bad games. So I'm not going to hold that too much against Kirk Cousins. Overall, he's been playing very well. I do think he could contend, but like I said, you can't. I don't think you're ever going to win because of him. But I don't think that's tough. But that's who like Jimmy G is, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you're not going to win because of him. But if your team worked, your defense is solid, which I don't think Minnesota's defense is good enough to help them. So maybe I do think they might be able to win a playoff game, but past that, I don't think they'd be able to make it to the playoffs. Not to make it to the Super Bowl, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
You don't see. My main point was I feel like with the right circumstance, Baker could have had a similar trajectory. We would have given him a little bit more time. If he had balled out and brought the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs as, a second-round pick like Kirk is, I feel like he would have gotten a lot more length of time there. Like, I don't think they would be in that quick of a position to try to move on from him. You know?
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, okay, we're getting a lot out of this guy. It's more than we expected. When you get that number one tag, the expectations are just so much higher on what you should be that his leash is like way short.
See, I think you can make an argument that I get what you're saying, and I don't disagree. But you can also make an argument that his leash is longer because he is a first round pick.
In terms of the money aspect, but now, if you look at it now.
Well, some people think that he even got a shot at LA because he was a first round. He was the first pick of the draft. If he was a second rounder, let's say he was a second rounder and he's had the exact same career that he's had just now, like you're saying, I don't honestly even know if he would get picked up in LA and they would start him. I don't know because that does mean something.
Right.
And I don't know. I just
a lot of what ifs.
There's a lot of what ifs, but I think if you're the first pick in the draft, you're going to get shots that a second rounder is just not going to get. I mean, there have been people that have been debated that Jalen Hurts could still possibly lose his job at the end of the year.
This year?
We talking about an MVP.
Are they blind?
I don't know what they're talking about, but
do they watch football?
I don't know, but he is I think the MVP frontrunner right now, and we talking about
who said that?
I saw something like that on social media. There was like a debate about that, and I was like,
who debating that?
I don't know.
Somebody let me know.
I don't know, but I don't think it was like right now. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. But even then,
you could have done this week 3, and I still have been like,
he's been balling all year. But people are making that, even talking about it, and their main case is going to be he's a second round pick that wasn't crazy good at his first year. So even that, if that was a first round pick, same person, first pick of the draft, nobody would even be questioned.
Like a Josh Allen. Do you remember Josh Allen's rookie year?
Awful.
It was abysmal. Yeah, it was.
His completion rating was what, like 50?
It was horrid. If you look at some of the highlights from that year, overthrows like crazy, crazy. But they gave him time to kind of.
Nobody questioned it though. He was a
rookie quarterback. But I'm gonna give you another one. Do you remember who his wide receiver 1 in Buffalo was his rookie year?
Ooh, so it wasn't Stephon, obviously. It's not Gabe Davis.
It wasn't even Cole, I don't think.
I feel like I would know if you told me. I have a name in my head.
I don't even remember.
Oh, you don't know?
So I can't even tell you the right answer.
I actually... No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. No clue.
That's the point, too. They gave him somebody to kind of, like, build a passing relationship with. And year 2 skyrocketed. Do you remember Jalen Hurts' wide receiver 1?
First year? Devontae
Smith. A rookie wide receiver. What do they do year 2 for him?
They got A.J. Brown. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Getting those guys, and that's why conversations like Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, people are making debates about Lamar wanting to leave. Because if you can do this for Josh Allen, you can do this for Jalen Hurts, a second-round pick that hasn't even made it. He made it to the playoffs, but I mean, people thought they were a joke making the playoffs.
And he was hurt.
And, and they still went out and got him a guy. So why can't you do that for like a Lamar Jackson or something? So
that's why it's like, I don't know. I guess OBJ was supposed to be there for Baker.
They just never clicked. And I don't know. I know a lot of talks was OBJ liked to run like his own routes, and maybe I don't know if that's true or not.
That'd be wild.
I don't know. But if he's running his own routes, or if he's just kind of feeling out the zones and finding the zones, I don't know. But if that is true, I mean, what are you expecting? I don't know. I would love to see Baker Mayfield start over on a team that has a decent surrounding cast and just see what happens. And a lot of people, like I said, are going to say that was Cleveland. They had a good O-line, good running backs, and I'm not going to completely disagree. I mean, he had some bad moments there, but I would really love to see him with kind of a similar situation, but maybe with another an elite wide receiver that he connects with. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think it was a very positive thing for him. I think the Rams are happy. Obviously, they don't have their first. I'm pretty sure they don't. I think it's the Jags that have it. I think the Jags might have it. So, boo. I don't know who has it. Somebody has it. That's all you got to know.
All we know, I mean, we know for sure, though, they don't have it. So.
Yeah, they don't have it. So somebody was sad that they won it. And the Raiders got to look themselves in the mirror now. They were chasing a playoff spot. They drop a very winnable game. And...
McDaniel? What's this? Is Mike
McDaniel, Josh
right?
McDaniels.
Josh McDaniel. He got to go. I'm sorry, but he got to go. I mean, a lot of signs are pointing to him just being a bad coach, bad fundamental team.
He fits better as a coordinator.
Yeah, I'd agree.
He's cooked up some crazy stuff in New England with playmakers that do not compare to the playmakers he's had at both stops. You were talking like a Demaryius Thomas and Eric Decker when he was still that guy out in Denver. Pretty sure Eric Decker was there. With that group. And couldn't make anything work. I think he had Tim Tebow, though, so. It was Tim Tebow and some other tall white quarterback. And then he...
Was that Brock Osweiler?
No, he was... Brock Osweiler was later. Yeah, it was... I'm trying to remember his name. Can't remember his name. But Yeah, had that situation, didn't work out. Then now has all the pieces at Las Vegas. Some hurt, obviously, but it wasn't looking good at the beginning of the year either.
Yeah.
So sometimes people just fit better in certain roles. He's not the head coach kind of guy, and I think you kind of have to cut your ties while you can. Will they? I don't know.
It's tough, but I'd say just cut your ties and start over. And I'd say get a guy that is fundamentally sound, and you know what you're going to get out of him. I don't think you need to take a guy that's so risky. You have a team that you have a lot of good pieces. Next year, they should both. The majority of them should be healthy. I don't know if anybody's going to be, obviously be moved or anything.
Severely worried about Darren Waller. This is the second year in a row now with the hammy injury.
Yeah. You got to hope the best for Hunter Renfrow. Got to hope the best for Darren Waller. I think Hunter Renfrow should be coming off IR soon, so he should be back healthy. Devontae Adams, he's going to be there.
His contract's like 4 or 5 years, I think, so he'll be there.
And I honestly think Derek Carr is still serviceable. I'm not going to sit here and say that he should go. If they have a first round pick, maybe take some. I don't know. I don't know what you do with Derek Carr, but I still think he's serviceable.
Trade him to the Colts.
You could do that. And if I was the Colts, I wouldn't. I want to do that. Colts, just go get your guy in the draft.
Yeah.
Just go get your guy. Y'all gonna start pissing me off. You going after all these old ass.
The last guy they went and got retired.
Yeah.
Which I wish I had read that article. That would have been a good thing to talk about. Sorry to be talking about it, but yeah, he really dropped something talking about how he felt he retired at the wrong time.
It's my Angela.
Which I feel like he did too. It was finally they figured it out, and he was like, "I'm out."
I actually didn't read the article. I didn't hear the. I just saw like some kind of video. I didn't listen to it though.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. But I'm saying like finally they figured out the O line. Like it was gonna be that year. I think the O line was top 3. The year that he retired, I think the O line was top 3, and that was his biggest worry. And this man was balling behind me and you blocking. Like he was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL his entire tenure.
Andrew Luck was good too.
He was elite.
He was elite.
Imagine going from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. Nuts. Obviously, you got the Green Bay Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, but like,
I mean, that's still up
Peyton
there.
Manning is Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck is comparable, but what could have been?
What could have been? But I think the Colts should just go get your guy in the draft. Right?
Do you think there's a guy in the draft for them this year? I know you're really big into college football and prospects, so.
You said I am?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bryce Young?
Yeah. I don't know. No.
I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea what the rookie quarterbacks, not the rookie quarterbacks, the quarterbacks in college football right now. If I'm being honest with you. I know, like I said, him and then
Anthony Richardson declared.
Who's that guy from TCU?
Max Duggan. Hey, shouts out Cade. I know you don't watch it, but he's a big Max Duggan guy. I don't think so. Sorry, Max Duggan isn't an NFL.
The guy at Ohio State, what's his name?
There you go. Young. No, his name's slipping me now. Dang. I feel like a bum.
Don't let me think about it first.
How does his name slip me? Oh, this is so embarrassing. Golly.
Oh, it's like right there.
I know.
It's like right there. CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I almost want to delete the clip. But yeah, CJ Stroud, I don't think he's declared officially, but Jackson Smith-Njigba did, which he had a horrible year this year, but he dealt with hamstring injuries too.
I don't know who that is, but I keep hearing the name. I just love it.
So,
Njigba.
He's living off of, I don't want to say he's living off of, it sounds very disrespectful. He had a crazy Rose Bowl last year. I think it was like 18 catches.
Oh, so it's like a Gabe Davis type thing.
No. He was balling all year, but then he ended it with like 18 catches for 400 and something yards and like 4 touchdowns. Yeah. And it's the Rose Bowl. So you know it wasn't like...
It wasn't a scrub.
Yeah, it's not like he played Southeastern University. Like it was a stupid stat line, and everybody's like, oh yeah, he's him. Right? And then this year, he hasn't done much playing. But he knows. He's like a locked top 15 pick. So, I don't know. But he declared. And then the rest of that receiving core for Ohio State looks crazy too, but I don't think any of them are coming out yet. But yeah. Back to the main point. You said the Colts should go get their guy. I don't know, man. I don't know if there's an official guy that I don't even know if they have a pick high enough this year, even with how they've been playing, to go out and get their guy. So
the Colts is a whole other issue. The Raiders have an issue. There's a lot of teams that have a lot of issues going on. So we'll see what happens.
You know what's wild? The Eagles have a top 5 pick.
Don't they have like 3 first-round picks?
I think they have 3 or 2. But when's the top 5 pick because the Saints are bad?
I think it's actually 2 because I think when they went to go get
Imagine they put Jackson Smith-Njigba with AJ Brown.
That's a good question. Smith. Who would you? Okay, let's say you're the Philly owner. Actually, where would you go?
Bijan Robinson. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. Even though that man's a dog. You ran a dynasty league, Matt. Please, bro.
Yeah, I'll do my research before I redraft.
Bijan Robinson is he's touted to be the next, not like, last year they'll be like, this running back's probably going to be good.
Was it running back?
Yeah.
Nah, they don't need him.
He is projected to be a better athlete coming out than Saquon.
Philly doesn't need him.
They don't. But I like
Miles Sanders.
I like putting running backs like that behind really good lines. So when Jonathan Taylor came out,
stop saying these things, bro. I'm a Miles Sanders dynasty owner.
Yeah,
you can't be. I don't stop.
But it's fun.
Why? For
putting
who?
Great running backs behind great lines.
I finally hit on one good player on my dynasty team, and you want that to go in shambles already? All right, bro.
Nah.
All right, bro.
I just like the idea. Okay, if they don't put him behind that line.
No, for real. Okay, if you're the owner, is that your pick? That running back?
Jason Kelce's getting old. I don't know what the O-line prospects coming out this year are.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking O-line or D-line. Yeah. I was thinking one of those because you have an O-line that is getting a little older, and they're good. Why not kind of, like you're saying,
start build, like what Dallas was doing mid-2000s, where they would just take another one, and then take another one. And then they're just pretty much coaching each other up in that O-line room and just turning over. Even now this year, they have a couple new faces on that O-line. They just keep rotating and finding good O-line play.
So that's what I was thinking, or I was thinking D-line. I mean, you got Fletcher Cox that's in the mid-30s, about to be in the mid-30s.
You signed Ndamukong Suh off the street. You signed somebody else, too, who's a pretty good run stopper off the street.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They keep on getting these guys off the street. And if it's working, I guess, but getting a guy...
It is.
to get a guy right there. And I also think an edge guy. I know they have, his name is Sweat?
Yeah.
He's doing pretty good, but who do they have on the other side? I honestly don't know.
But who's the guy in college on the other side this year? I haven't really heard any noise. Yeah. I'm just saying, I haven't heard any noise, so don't force that pick. Don't force that pick.
Oh, okay, but I am saying the line, though. The only position I would think about is linebacker, but I feel like you don't need to take a linebacking position that early.
I'd trade that thing, too, if I could.
For what? I guess you could for another piece.
You could trade it for assets.
Oh, Philly is a set.
Yeah, because imagine if they do what Miami did with the Niners, right? Yeah. Where the Niners gave away 3 first-round picks in the next few drafts and some seconds to get that 5th pick. Like a team, like you said, that believes that they really need their quarterback of the future, and they want their hands on either Bryce Young, Caleb Williams if he enters the draft, I guess, C.J. Stroud, one of these guys, right? If they decide one of these guys are their guy, you can move that 5th pick for something nice.
You could, and I actually think that'd be pretty smart. But the thing is that's really making me. The Eagles are really just set. They have a young quarterback, young receivers, young running backs. The O-line's getting a little older, but like you said, they can keep kind of funneling them out. Defense, Darius Slay is still getting how old is he? 28, 27?
I think he's still okay. I wouldn't worry about him yet. But that decline, which is something I spoke to a coworker about almost a year ago. The decline of DBs, it just comes so quick and it's so steep. It's not like it's this year he's a little less good. This year he's a little less good. It's literally like Stephon Gilmore, where
fell off.
All Pro. He's playing well for Indianapolis this year, but still All Pro, and then 3 teams in 4 years. Literally right after the All Pro season.
Isn't J.C. Jackson?
J.C. Jackson, Pro Bowler, got hurt, obviously. So, got hurt, and then out of the rotation for the Chargers. Actually was the worst DB in the league before he got hurt. Stuff like that. You can fall off a cliff so quickly. Patrick Peterson, on top of the world, bounced from, I think it was 2 teams before he landed on the Vikings.
Yeah.
So that decline could come fast.
It does come fast, and I think it's because it's such a difficult position to play.
Yeah.
The wide receivers are studying their game. And the thing is, being a wide receiver, you're the one doing the deceiving.
Yeah. And
the corner is doing the reaction. If the wide receiver kind of gets a feel or kind of gets to know what the DB is doing, it's up to the DB to kind of change things up. But how much can they really do? I mean, the receiver is the one that's...
a bad hand anyway because all the rules aren't built for them.
Yes, they're not.
No.
And it's such a hard position to play. In my opinion, besides the quarterback position, I think cornerback is second when it comes to difficulty.
Yeah, there's more. Yeah, there's
I was going to say, you don't disagree with me.
No, I was about to say, I'd even argue for DB. You can't win. Like, at quarterback, you could bank on your athleticism. You could go really far with that if you're an athlete playing the quarterback position.
Yeah.
You could be the best athlete at DB.
And I think the worst part about being a DB is you could have almost a perfect game. You let up one touchdown because, I don't know, you slip, perfect throw, whatever.
You played Devontae Adams.
It's on you.
Yeah.
No, they don't care anymore. They don't care about the rest of the game. They care about what just happened just then.
And it's not even just you. You can do your best work 2 to 3 seconds off the snap. If your D-line doesn't get any pressure within that 3 seconds, it's almost impossible for you to win, no matter how good of a DB you are.
Yeah. And the thing is and the worst part about it is also as a consumer, as someone that watches the game, most people don't even know what's going on. We don't even know what coverage is. We don't know if they're playing quarters. We don't know if they're playing hooks. We don't know if we're playing. Clue. We don't know if we're playing press man. Press man. We don't know if we're playing man until once the play really keeps going. Zone wise, they could be deep quarters. They could be short quarters, mid quarters. Like, there's so many different things. So a lot of times when you see these receivers and busted coverages, you kind of just go like, "Dang, that closest guy to it. Where is he going?" Well, we don't know. We don't know about the safety that got the plays mixed up and went to the other side, going to that deep quarter on the other side when they were supposed to stay over here. But you're blaming the wrong guy. It's such a difficult position to play, and it's also a position that you need everybody around you as well to do their part. Because, like I said, busted coverages, it may look like it's on you, but it might not be. So it's tough.
I don't even know if there's a DB really in the draft that would be worth targeting. I wasn't doing that for you today. I wasn't trying to be like that, but now that you're thinking about it, I got no clue who the Eagles really need. They should move the pick.
I was going to say, if you really feel like you can't come up, if I'm a Philly owner, if I'm the owner of the Eagles, and I'm looking at the draft and I don't love anybody, or like there's not like a why not move? Why not move it for another first round pick? Like you said, maybe even get 2 first-round picks, especially if they're trying to go for the future quarterback. They might do that. Or get yourself a guy that's proven, guy that you really like. You liked A.J. Brown.
They did that last year.
You don't have to go with an A.J. Brown again, but you can go in another position. Like I said, maybe you can get yourself a really good D-tackle. I don't know if anybody's on the market after this year. Or maybe you can get yourself a new offensive lineman at whatever you think is the weakest point or whatever is going to be the weakest point. You can do whatever you really want to.
Yeah.
And you can maybe even get yourself an elite guy or you're not even elite, but just a solid D tackle, good run stopper, and get like 1 first-round pick, maybe even 2 first-round picks on top of that for the future, obviously. But I don't know. They have a lot of options. That's what I'm saying. Like Philly's gonna be good for a while, dog. Unless Jalen Hurts just completely falls off, and even then, they can go get another quarterback.
I'm looking at it, and it's for that division. I know Cowboys fans are gonna hate it, but.
It's tough.
They're going to be a problem if they're able to keep what they have going there.
And right now, I think that Philly has by far the better roster. I know Dallas has a better defense right now, but Philly has way more assets to even make it better.
Yeah,
they could fix it. If they don't win it all this offseason, not this offseason, but this season, during the offseason, they can fix almost whatever they want if they wanted to. They have so many things that they can move around, and guys are so young.
Who's your Super Bowl favorite?
The Eagles.
Really?
I like the Eagles, man. I like what they've been doing. Mm-hmm. I appreciate what they've been doing. Very smart on the offensive side. They made some adjustments on the defensive side. That's the only thing that kind of concerns me a little bit is their defense. But, their secondary is still elite. I don't know, Gardner Johnson, is he healthy?
I don't know if he's okay still, but...
If he's healthy, if he's healthy by playoff time, and you got Darius Slay on the other side, you got Fletcher Cox,
playing well.
Bradbury, like you said, what's the Ndamukong Suh?
Ndamukong Suh, yeah. In the middle.
If you have those guys just being able to hold it down, if they could just limit that team to 20 points, man, that offense is hard to beat.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion, the best offense in the league.
Goddard's coming back, it looks like.
Next game, he's going to be back.
You prefer them over the Bills' offense?
Yes. For one reason. I don't like the wide receiver, too, in Buffalo. I'm sorry, but I don't love Gabe Davis.
I understand.
I think he's He's not bad. I think we've talked about it a little bit. I don't think he's bad. He has great hands. But as a number 2, as a reliable guy, past Stephon Diggs, I need to see some more from somebody else.
I think so. I made reference to Buffalo. I think in the predictions video that they still struggle with a consistent running game.
That too, yeah.
They haven't fixed it.
They haven't fixed it, but they haven't looked bad either.
So it's very confusing. Like Devin Singletary has looked good in stints. James Cook has looked good in stints as well.
They haven't looked.
But I haven't. It's still not. I haven't seen enough that like opens up any. It's not obviously. It's not Philly's run game. Averaging like almost 5 yards a touch. Obviously not, right? Or how Mike McDaniels schemes with Miami, which even though I don't see a guy, unless they're playing like a really solid defense, they're gashing anybody they want and doing whatever they want at any time on the field, opening everything up for their receivers, right? Just the schemes they run, it seems like they're just so dependent on using Josh Allen as a rusher. Josh Allen is still their leading rusher on the team.
Yeah. That's the thing about Philly that's so scary, is they can do so many different things. They can run the ball, they can fully commit to running if they want, and they will be successful. Just this last game, they can commit to, pretty much all year, but especially this last game. Jalen Hurts just threw for 350, 4 touchdowns, no picks.
It is Tennessee, but yeah.
It is Tennessee, but Jalen Hurts, he has proven to be a solid passer, and then when you have guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
The week before that, he was toting that thing, too, over 100 rushing yards.
Yeah. So it's just they can run the ball if they want to. They can throw the ball if they want to. They have the guys and the athletes to, even if they're not really successful with either one of them and they want to do some screens, now you got to deal with A.J. Brown.
Who do you think would give him the most problems in the playoffs? I got my answer, but...
Honestly, the Cowboys.
Really?
I'm thinking about NFC. So I'm not thinking about the Super Bowl. I'm thinking about NFC. So we have Eagles that are really good. We have the Cowboys that are really good. I guess you got the Bucks. Who else is really good right now? Yeah, Seattle. Who else?
Dark horse.
You got Minnesota.
Always. My dark horse always, especially on that side of the bracket.
There's just no way that's it. He's going to San Francisco.
Every time. That defense, you can't count that defense.
No, you can't.
Ever.
You can't. And you're right. It is such an elite defense that if they could score...
The offensive scheming on the other side, Matt, it don't matter who you put at QB.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, I will put my money on Jalen Hurts.
I respect it because, again, he's tough. He's going to find a way, right? And he doesn't just do one thing well, right? Like, I made a lot of money betting against Dallas last year when they played the Niners in the playoffs. And the main thing is because I didn't see Dak utilizing the rushing anymore, right? If it was Dak the year before, I wouldn't have felt as confident placing that bet. The positive with Jalen Hurts, he trusts his rushing ability still. He hasn't had anything crazy, knock on wood, happen to him where he feels like he doesn't want to run the ball anymore and he wants to stay in the pocket. That makes things a little bit harder for a team like the Niners to kind of sink their teeth in on that defensive line and bully him up front and then have a secondary that just has to play solid enough coverage for long enough, right?
Yep.
But in saying that, the offensive side of the Niners, adding CMC, adding Debo, Brandon Ayuk semi-breakout, they're not even utilizing George Kittle.
I want to give Ayuk some credit. I've seen him play. It's maybe kind of a weird take. I think he's a better wide receiver than Debo.
I don't think that's that bad of a take.
I watched Brandon. He looks
They use him very differently too, though.
They are very different, so it's not really good to really compare the two. But he looks so fundamentally sound as a receiver, whereas Debo is obviously your yak guy. Yeah, but I don't know. I agree with you though. The Niners have an impressive defense. They always seem to figure it out or make it a close game. So if they mash each other first game, I think it'd be close for sure. But like I said, I'm gonna put my money on Jalen Hurts. Who's the starter for San Francisco? What's his name?
Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, we'll go with the Eagles on that one. But I really do think the Cowboys are the biggest threat because I'm not even a dark horse. Look, I'm not a Cowboys lover. But
this is the one year I haven't heard them saying it's their year, and I give them credit for it because every year it's their year.
I like Undisputed, so I don't.
Yeah, no. So I have a friend, Trey. I don't know if he watches these, but Trey. He hits me about my Cowboys prediction and how I thought they were gonna go, 8-9 or 9-8, that kind of range, because I think they've already gotten to that win total with weeks to come up. And it's not the regular season for the Cowboys. It's what happens in the post. And I think for the first time in a long time, their defense has a lot of grit.
Okay.
Right? So, I feel like the strength of the team isn't just solely based on how many points they're putting up. Right?
So, yeah.
Somewhat agreeing with you is what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, but I think you're not giving them enough credit because it's a top 3 defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Top 3 defense, and then that offense has plenty of people around it to be good. Dak Prescott's done plenty in the league to show that he could do something. You have Tony Pollard that's breaking out this year, even with Zeke in the mix, and then you still do have a Zeke where you could do some power running.
Zeke looked good.
CD is looking like a number 1. You have Michael Gallup kind of turning up last game, being what Michael Gallup is supposed to be.
He's getting healthy.
Bruce Brown, whatever. But you have to pass
Noah Brown, too.
So did they have Bruce Brown and Noah Brown? Or is Bruce Brown Noah Brown and I'm just getting mixed up?
I hope it's the first thing. I hope it's not what you're saying after. I'm hoping there's 2 different Browns. It's possible. Brown's a popular last name.
Yeah, sure. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think you're downplaying the Cowboys a little too much. And the Cowboys are going to give them a run for their money. And we'll see. But like I said, I'm still going to stick with the Eagles as my Super Bowl favorite. Who do you have on the AFC side facing the Eagles?
Facing the Eagles. It's tough, man. That AFC East division, I think is who's going to be.
You mean the AFC North division?
No, I don't mean that. I said what I meant. I mean that. That's the opposite of what I meant. Yeah, the AFC East. I feel like it's going to be the Dolphins or the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills lose Von Miller for the year. It's a tough look. You pay a lot of money for Von Miller. He goes out. Josh Allen, I still don't think is 100% healthy with the arm thing, but he's fighting through it. I just feel like Miami has too much. They're very well coached. And I feel like they have a good path. So, I'm leaning Miami. Cheetah and Waddle. I just don't see a way past that. If they're able to get them in space still and utilize both their strengths, it just seems too hard to guard. I don't know. Obviously, you have the Kansas Cities out there. I think the lack of a wide receiver 1 is going to come back to bite them. They seem to have found a run game in Isaiah Pacheco, so that's good. I don't know if they're going to get Melvin Gordon acclimated so they can have a 1-2 punch there, because Jerick McKinnon is still only getting 5 to 6 carries.
Yes, Melvin Gordon should just be the third running back.
Possible.
Or fourth.
I'm just saying. I feel like
Clyde over him.
Clyde's hurt, so he probably won't
come back. I'm saying I don't know.
Really? Okay, yeah, I don't know about that. But they still don't have a strong wide receiver 1.
I just don't like
I was about to say. I don't think they have a strong wide receiver 1, and teams are locking down Travis Kelce the last few weeks. They're still finding ways. Cincinnati has their number. You have to keep them in the mix. They went to the Super Bowl last year. Jamar Chase is coming back to full health. Samaje Perine looks better than Joe Mixon, and they're getting Joe Mixon back. I'm talking about Waddle and Hill. They have Chase and Higgins. And obviously, I feel like most people would pick Burrow over Tua in terms of just sheer passing ability. So that's my top 3. But I'm feeling something about it just feels like Miami's year. I don't know.
See, I'm not in the same boat as you, but I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Because I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I was leaning Buffalo when you first mentioned it, but then I was like, man, all these injuries are just stacked on stacked, and then your secondary that was supposed to be really good.
Dealing with it too.
Your running game is mid, and then you have Josh Allen at 100%. Makes me a little nervous. It just screams a lot of they're not going to go that far in the playoffs as much as we may think. Healthy Bills, we'd be having a different conversation. But then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go KC. I think KC they have the history, well coached.
Mahomes playing out of his mind.
Mahomes is going crazy. You still have Kelce. You still have, even though you don't have the number 1 receiver, you got a lot of guys. I mean, you got Juju. You have
Sky Moore
MVS.
broke out a little bit. I was about to say, Sky Moore had a decent day.
He has, and I actually saw, I don't know if you saw it, but I saw a video about him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I forgot what it was, but I saw a video.
It was one of my favorite receivers to watch when he was playing, Steve Smith. I think Steve Smith was talking about how he was breaking out and like how he would like play. He's playing the DB like you were saying earlier. So he would see how the DB is driving to the sideline, give him a move, like give the DB what he thinks he's seeing.
That's right.
And cut back or like hit certain wiggles. Like he knows how to operate after catch.
You got that finesse.
Yeah, and he says once he pieces it all together, he could be a problem. And he's with the right quarterback to give him the opportunity to be a problem. I see why a lot of people were investing high, dynasty-wise, in Sky Moore. It's a project. You're going to have to wait a little bit still.
Yeah.
But
he looks explosive when he gets the ball. He does look really young, though.
They took him off punts, which is good. That's always a good sign once they start getting you off of doing that stupid crap, right? Unless, like, absolutely necessary. So, yeah. My take was that he'd eventually take Mecole Hardman's job. And I'm feeling pretty good about my take, honestly.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I was thinking KC, but then I also was like, can't forget about Joe Burrow.
And he's 3-0 against him now.
And then you can't forget about the Steelers. I mean, can he pick it, baby?
With Lamar going down and being very not healthy, and Deshaun Watson, which we are going to talk about Deshaun Watson. Have to talk about Deshaun Watson. TJ Watt coming back. You guys won last week, right?
You've been back, man.
You guys won last week?
We stay winning.
You beat Atlanta in a very close matchup. I think it was some weird number like 19-17 or something like that.
It was weird. It was solid.
You guys, y'all beat Atlanta.
Yeah.
You can stay in the race.
I'm just playing. The Steelers aren't going to make it. But being for real, though, like, Cincinnati is still... You got a lot of good teams. I'm really curious about what's going to happen in the AFC because I could easily see the Bills beating any of the teams. I could easily see the Bengals beating everyone. I could see KC. And I haven't even talked about Miami. But Miami, in my opinion, is the dark horse in this mix. I think they're going to do very well as well. They're going to do very good as well. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
I just don't know who to pick straight up.
I don't. If I had to put money down right now, I'm gonna just put on Patrick Mahomes for right now.
That's fair.
I'll give it to Mahomes and maybe Joe Burrow. Because I like. I'm not supposed to like the Bengals, but I like.
Since he has their number.
Yeah.
Since he has their number, that's something to pay attention to.
I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, and I'm a big T Higgins fan as well. So
yeah, me too.
I can't dislike the Bengals. I'm sorry.
So what's your ultimate Super Bowl? Like, what would make you ask off for the afternoon from work to go watch the Super Bowl? Huh?
Any Super Bowl, really.
I know, but we have a sports podcast. Obviously, almost any Super Bowl. But, I mean, like, if you had to, especially in the position you are, to ask off for time, I know how you feel about that kind of stuff.
Oh, for that? No. Never mind. I hope I'm off for that.
Nah, you're going to request it.
I'm going to request it. I'll do what I can. If I even have to work a half day.
8 to 5. You don't even have to work a half day.
What time does it normally start?
Like 7.
Oh,
yeah.
So I can't close.
Yeah. Yeah, just make it known.
If I had to pick one, man, there's so many fun teams in the AFC.
Philly got to be on the NFC side. I'm sorry, Dallas fans.
Oh, no, NFC.
I'm sorry. I want to see Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl.
NFC is easy to me. It has been easy for me pretty much the whole year. I want the Eagles to be in the NFC for the front runner. I think they're the funnest team to watch. I just love.
If it's not them, I'd like to see them.
I get orgasmic.
I'd like to see CMC in the Super Bowl. Oh my god, this man
watching the Philadelphia Eagles offense.
that offense is nuts.
It is. But no, man, they're so fun to watch. On the AFC side, man, the Bengals are really fun to watch.
The AFC East has some fun teams. Mahomes in the Super Bowl, obviously fun.
Honestly, don't even. If I'm picking who
Cheetah Waddle in the Super Bowl, obviously I gotta watch Tua. Which, sorry guys,
I'm gonna go Bengals and Philly.
Bengals Philly,
because I think that the Bengals don't have the greatest defense, so I think Philly gonna have a good game, and I think the Bengals just have a great offense, and they're just gonna be eating. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game.
And both guys haven't won one yet. That would be great. That would be a great story.
And they're both dogs.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. They're both dogs.
Yeah, I'm good about it. I think that would be a nice watch. And it's
very possible.
I don't know. What's some of the matchups for this week? Let's talk matchups. But let's start off. Are the Browns on bye? Who do the Browns play? Who's the bounce back game? All right. So I want to start off by saying Matt was right. Matt was right. You're almost exactly right on his stat line too. You know that, right?
What?
What you said he could throw. You said if he goes like 15 for 33, 180 and a pick. I think it's something like that.
Yeah, I did say that, and he ended up being what he about the same, 15 and.
I think it was like 15 for 156 in a pick or something like that.
Yeah.
Something nuts. Like you were just on
money.
What's his line? I need to hear his exact stat line. I feel like it was super close to what you said. I don't know if it was for 33. But
and the crazy part is they still scored 27 points. That's
the defense. There was a punt return TD and an interception return for a TD or something like that. Which I like to say, I'm tired of working retail. I don't care who watches this.
What?
Bruh, I miss setting my lineup because I was so busy. I had Cleveland defense on the bench in one league. I had to drop in and pick up another defense. They dropped like 29 points. It hurted my soul. I still won, but it hurted my soul. I just had to watch that go crazy.
Yeah. So it looks like Deshaun Watson had 12 for 22. So I think I was shooting for was a percentage though.
Yeah. I know, which is roughly, it's close.
131 yards and then one pick.
You were close.
Hey, look, I be telling y'all, he gets too cute with stuff.
It's not that.
He gets too cute. He don't.
You started changing my mind.
Oh, the Houston Texans. Oh.
You started changing. Come on now. Don't let me put the clip in here.
No,
don't let me put the clip in here.
Because this is what I said. You got to start him because it's a revenge game.
Yeah.
But your expectations better be low because I could definitely see him not having a great game.
Yeah, but you're like, I wouldn't have gone on this whole rant if you told me
I agree.
Houston.
No, he's playing the Texans.
Okay.
So I agree that I could see you wanting to start him, and I'm not going to hate it, but don't think he's going to go off because he still hasn't played football in like 2 years. Yeah. So I did say that.
Yeah, and I want to say
I was right. I told you.
Awesome take. I want to say awesome take. That was a good take.
This man hasn't played football in 2 years.
That was like the biggest argument in fantasy last week is if you start Deshaun Watson or you don't start Deshaun Watson.
Anybody was saying start Deshaun Watson because they thought he was going to do well. Not the revenge part. Just based off of it. This is Deshaun Watson. We want to start him. I'm sorry, but why would you want to do that?
Because he was a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Maybe I'm just not seeing it right, but I'm just so dumbfounded by it.
Because
he hasn't played football in 2 years. Think of the other top 5.
So if Patrick Mahomes has to sit out for 2 years, are you starting him when he comes back?
No.
Really?
It's been 2 years. I want to see him, get back into the offense in a live action game. Have a decent game. Game 2, I got you.
Okay. So it brings about the question. We're here now.
But hold on, you can't even ask that question because you're not talking about the fact that Deshaun Watson had so much crap going on, and that was one of my main reasons. It wasn't just because let's say Patrick Mahomes got hurt for 2 years or got hurt for a year and had to come back. Yeah, if Patrick Mahomes got hurt, tore his ACL by the time he came back, I'm probably gonna start him. But it's about what happened with Deshaun Watson specifically that really made me go, I'm not interested until I see something. So.
Do you think it's still possible he ends in the top 10 for the rest of the season? No. So you think, based on the rust that was shown, this back end of the year is going to be rough for him?
I'm not going to say it's going to be rough, but top 10 is very...
I'm saying just for the ending.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm not saying
from week 14 to week 18.
Yeah, so pretty much four or 5 weeks worth of play time. So I get what you're saying. No.
Okay.
I think he'll be in that top 15, top 20 range. I don't think he'll be awful. I think he'll have maybe a spike game or a game that... We're Deshaun Watson might be kind of back.
Who's the Browns matchup this week? I think that's a huge deciding factor. Obviously, we're back at it again. Last week didn't show us anything to be confident in. If you saw any of the highlights, which I went back and watched some of the highlights, he was skipping balls off the ground, short, bad reads.
Well, the Bengals. The defense is torturable, but it's just...
He's going to have to... This is the thing. How does Cleveland's defense play against the Bengals? Because if Cleveland's defense is going to keep him in it, then I feel like you could see a lot of Chubb usage.
Well, I would hope that you'd use Chubb. I don't know you were just saying if they can hold the Bengals to a certain amount of points, you can keep using Chubb. But I would say even if you're losing by 14 points and it's the beginning of the third quarter, still feed Chubb
because
a lot. And then use Kareem Hunt as well. They don't use him very much anymore.
He got used a little bit last week because of the situation, obviously. Trying to get him back right, but...
Get him running the ball, passing, give the ball to both of the screens. Obviously, that's going to be part of the game plan. And then try to get Deshaun Watson. I don't know how much he ran for, but get Deshaun Watson.
Like 48.
Okay, so that's not bad.
Something like that. It was in the 40s.
That's kind of where I would say, like, you kind of want Deshaun Watson right now. Running the ball a little bit as himself, and then also running the ball with Chubb and Hunt and passing the ball. I think 22 times passing the ball is perfect. That's like that.
Sweet spot.
I think 25 is a good spot to be at. So
it was a disappointing game, but it was somewhat expected from, like you said.
Not tripping. I thought he was going to go crazy.
I didn't know what to expect, but I was willing to start him, depending who I had.
And I wasn't even crazy to say like Mac, because I remember you asking me who would I start over him.
Mac Jones. Yeah, I would still take that risk, even after seeing what happened.
This next week, maybe.
I would still take that
first game.
Mac Jones is not a guy that I ever, in single quarterback leagues, even if it's superflex, if I have the decision between Mac Jones and Deshaun Watson, I will go with the upside over what I've seen out of Mac Jones. Now, obviously, Jared Goff.
Mac Jones had just put up 32 points. And
he did? Who did he play?
The Vikings, and then he played Buffalo and put 17 points up.
Okay, 17's like... That's on the high side of what he usually puts up.
No, 32 is his high side.
No, 32 is like him playing out of his fucking mind. Don't make it seem like this is...
It's a spike game.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
30 pass attempts is like his peak.
Yeah.
But like a Jared Goff or something like that, yeah, you're still running those guys out.
You thought I was crazy for saying that too. Did you think I was crazy?
I meant
to disagree
in terms of like top 10, yeah. Like top 10 for the rest of the season. Which Jared Goff has led a top 5 offense this year, which I don't know what to add to it. Like, I don't see him as the reason they're really top 5. Would you put him as one of the main deciding factors of why they're a top 5 offense? I don't know you like Jared Goff, but when you put it in a vacuum, compared to me.
Yeah, I don't hate on Jared Goff like other people do. I do think he's a serviceable quarterback in the NFL.
But you wouldn't be like, oh, they're top 5 because of Jared Goff.
No, they're not top 5 because of him, but he's definitely not hurting them too much.
No.
I think he's had a couple games where it's been questionable. But like I said, every quarterback is going to have those bad games, especially a mid-tier quarterback like Jared Goff. But I think he's done what he's needed to in the offense to make it work. And you have the athletes and the talent on that offensive side to really help. I mean, you have DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Amon Ra. You have Jameson Williams coming back. You have a lot of good talent. You did have T.J. Hawkinson. Now he's gone, but you have plenty of talent. So
yeah, we had to feel that talent last week.
How many points did they put up?
40.
Oh, that's right.
40
that's
piece.
right. I forgot. I remember because I wanted to text you about that.
Yeah, I mean, at one point they were the number 1 scoring offense. When we went into the game, I wasn't like, oh, we're gonna shut them down. I was just hoping we could keep pace because their defense isn't great.
It's not. It's atrocious, but I feel like they began a little bit better.
A little bit. Aiden Hutchinson is coming into his own, but
but
I expected more than 14 points. Put it that way. And we did not get more than that. And Trevor looked okay.
Is this the game that Trevor almost died?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He got folded.
Oh my god.
I thought he was done.
I saw it. I was like, dang.
Yeah. I was in my car and somebody said Trevor just died, and I was like, stop playing with me. And then I go see the video, and I was like,
oh, well, you're not gonna.
I
was like, who's your backup? I want to go look in the backup. I was like, maybe I need to put him on waivers. I don't know.
They folded my boy, and I was like, he's gonna be out for like over a year. And it's about to be a whole project, and I'm gonna be all sad.
I thought it was ACL, MCL.
Calvin really gonna be like, oh god, like what? That boy tried it back out in the second half.
Calvin really gonna be like, dang, I really gotta bet against
the Giants. Yeah, again. But that boy came back to life. Flexible. Do yoga. Hey. That's what that told me or something. That boy bounced back.
When you look at Trevor Lawrence, I mean, you would think that something like that happens,
fold him.
He'd be out. But, I mean, shout out to him, bro. He's tough. He's a tough guy, and he was able to be fine.
Yeah, was able to lead us back to a 14-40 loss, so might as well have rode the second half.
Man, at least he lived, man. And he wasn't even, like, questionable either. Like,
he's okay.
That man was straight. Because I even looked, like, 2 days after. I was like, I wonder if they got him questionable just to see. I mean, Gucci. Like,
he's good. He's like, that's okay. This is another day behind the Jags line. Like, it's all good. But nah, it was a tough showing. I don't really put much blame on him. The offense looked out of sync. Trevor had an okay day. Travis Etienne had a very meh. Fantasy football day, horrible. But it is what it is. We got beat. I think we're 4? Do we have 4 wins? I think we have 4 or 5 wins. I don't even know. We might have passed our 4-win mark.
I thought y'all were at 3.
Really?
Straight up.
I think we have more than 3, don't we?
I could be wrong. I thought you were at 3.
Because our 4th one was against the Ravens, so we might be 4 and 9. I think we're
4 and 8.
4 and 8.
Yeah, that's not bad.
We beat the Ravens, which we didn't even talk about that like that. Did we?
We talked about it a little bit.
But
we didn't talk about a whole lot.
Crazy.
Oh, shout out to the Jags. That was a good win.
Yeah, but hate to see it. And then your quarterback didn't even play anything too crazy. Y'all just took advantage of the matchup, right, against Atlanta.
I think it was just straight up just like coaching and
because
Mike Tomlin outcoached the hell out of whoever. Who's the coach for the?
I couldn't tell you. I don't care.
I don't even.
Cordero Patterson. He seems to do everything, so he might be the coach too.
Yeah, I mean, it might be Kyle Pitts at this point. I don't know.
He's just over there on the sideline with his crutches.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't know. I saw him because I watched the game. At first, I thought he was a nobody when they put him on camera, and I'm like, oh man, they're showing like the doctor or something. I don't know. Shout out to this dude. And then they kept on showing. I'm like, oh, he like the coach. Oh, who is he?
Dang, it's tragic.
But no, and then his time clock management. No, Mike Tomlin was just like, get out of my face. But anyways, no, we had a good win versus Atlanta. I'm gonna say the same thing until something changes, because the same thing I'm gonna say last week about Kenny Pickett. Look good. He didn't look bad. Didn't hurt us. Played all right.
AJ Terrell had George Pickens in his back pocket. Pickens was having a rough day.
That's false. But anyways, that's false. He didn't have him in his pocket. They just never really gave him the ball.
Why do you think he didn't get the ball?
AJ Terrell wasn't even on him the whole time. AJ Terrell was mostly on Deontay. I watched the game. He was on Deontay like the majority of the game.
So what happened? 1 for 12?
I don't know, but one thing I actually want to talk about this for a second. I want to talk about George Pickens. So, I love the talent. Love the menace. But there's one thing. No, there's one thing. No, I'm not mad. He's young. He's my future. All right.
I was about to say.
Quit playing with me. He's my future. But there is one thing I know I have seen in his game that I would love to see him develop a little bit more. Why he looks like he's jogging everywhere.
Maybe he's just so athletic that.
And I thought that at first too. I thought I was like, okay, he's just taking like really long strides. He's a taller guy, and then I keep looking and I'm like, no, he's like jogging sometimes.
So you think if the play's not schemed up for him, he checks out a little bit?
No, and I don't think it's that. I actually don't think it's anything like that. I think that's just how he kind of runs a little bit. It's not like I think what you're picturing is like a light jog. It's like a faster jog, but you can definitely tell he's not like going.
He's not a full speed every play like
because I saw him. What?
AB used to be like.
Oh, AB. Okay, I thought you said you, and I'm like, oh, you used to play. Anyways, I don't know.
Anything about me say full speed? What are we talking about?
I don't know, but look. Anyways, I don't know. I saw him like take off for like a seam route. He took off, and I'm like, okay, so that's
his speed.
That's the speed. Got it. And then I kept on looking, and he's definitely looking like he's like at a 75%, 70% speed. And I don't think it's because of anything like profound. I don't think it's. I think that's just kind of how he plays. He's a zone kind of guy. He's a reception kind of guy. He's not an elite route runner like I would like for him. I just think that's college football, high school football. He's been able to just dominate.
Get by on that.
And I remember, so I saw this play, and the commentators made a comment, and I thought was very interesting. It was a corner route, and when he took the corner route, he ran it at this 75% pace, and it looks like he's open. George Pickens is kind of like waving his hand or whatever. He's not open. You got your safety playing. He's actually baiting, so he would get it. He was right here on his hip. Kenny Pickett doesn't even really have. He has an arm, but he's young. I don't even know if he would really get it that far. He's just not technically open, but he looks open. So it makes me think that I wonder if George Pickens has just always been able to dominate, that he just thinks that 75% pace is just where he's supposed to be. And I think he needs to bump it up a little bit. I don't know if all
100% every play.
It doesn't have to be 100% because when you're playing wide receiver, it's about deception. You don't want to run that 100% every play. But if you're running at like 70, 75% all the time, and honestly, I'm being kind of generous with 70, 75%.
But if it's about deception, though, it's not always like, when I mean 100% every play, if he's putting in those fast jog routes, that they're leading to something. If you watch, like, what I mean by 100% of play is even if he's half speed, it's half speed leading to something. Not
like
half speed, finish my route, half speed, never make a move to make it outside of that. Or if I'm half speed, I'm not even doing a change of direction to, you've seen the difference. You know the elite guys that Devontae obviously is one of the most elite guys, but his deception.
I think Devontae is a great example of someone is really able to deceive with purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I would love to see from George Pickens, and I think that's a great thing to bring up, is have purpose with everything that you're doing. And I just don't think he does, and it's because he's young. Like I said, I don't think it's because he wants to be that. I don't think he's trying to be a menace or anything. I think that's just kind of how he plays. And I just want to see him have a little bit more of a purpose, have more of a goal, speed up a little bit more. I think he looks. I want you to watch him. Have you seen it?
No.
I want you to watch. Maybe pull up one of the old games. Just watch a drive or two, and just see how he kind of runs. It looks so off, and I don't know. It's just I would love to see him just kind of burst a little bit more because he's a deep route guy too. You're not gonna win all the jump balls, and he actually has some underrated speed as well. So I don't know. That's the only thing. I just wanted to bring that up. That's something I kind of noticed last game I was watching, and I noticed it previously as well. But I thought it was just long strides. And I think this last game, I saw him take that burst for that seam, and I'm like, I'm wrong. There's more that there's something I'm missing, and I think the commentators even mentioned something. They're like, they said something about him kind of not running at 100%. I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
It's something to watch for this game for sure. I don't know who you guys play this week, but I know we
play. I think the Ravens.
We played the Titans, so yeah. Prepare to watch Derrick Henry go for 180 against us because he always seems to do that against our defense. But if there's ever a game for Trevor and Kirk to really break out in terms of fantasy, I know a lot of us are gearing up for the fantasy playoffs. This is the last week for a lot of leagues that are pushing. If you're in the mix, this is the last week you can really push to make it. On the KickNPost Dino, I am playing with one quarterback. Actually, no, I'm playing with no quarterbacks.
Well,
this week.
Well, we can. Oh, it's past trade deadline. I was like, I have a quarterback just for you.
But it's past the trade deadline, and I wouldn't trade back from this. It's okay.
Oh, it's not who you think it is.
Who is it?
Matt Ryan.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm playing literally with no quarterbacks this week, and I need to win.
Is Aaron Rodgers not playing?
Nope, he's on bye.
He's on bye.
So is Marcus Mariota, which doesn't matter. He lost his job anyway.
Doesn't matter.
And I think Washington's also on bye, which
doesn't matter.
I had Carson Wentz because he lost his job anyway. So here I am.
So that's it. Maybe we should talk about a little more off, but what do you even do as a dynasty player to fix that? You need to go get yourself a first-round pick, and
I don't have that.
But the good news is you do have assets.
Yeah, but
you do.
All of them are at a low selling point right now. Obviously, when the offseason hits, I could probably get a pick for Mark Andrews, a pick, and maybe something else.
I would think about moving Kelsey.
He got another year in there.
If
I'm going for the chip,
if we're talking about not even having a starting quarterback,
looking at the rest of my team, yeah.
Are you even kind of thinking about winning a chip?
This was supposed to be the year. If I didn't get it this year, then it was supposed to go.
Would be a better idea to move a Kelsey then instead of Andrews.
If I move Kelsey, I'm blowing the whole thing up though.
Isn't that where we're at?
No.
Really?
No, not yet. It depends. There's a lot of things I have to happen in the offseason for me to blow it up.
To be fair, I mean, his team is low.
It's Adams, Diggs, Kelsey, Andrews.
And a tight end premium league as well. 1.5 per reception.
Yeah, so that's what I'm banking on, is these guys being themselves again and that kind of lifting my team up. That's why the team was built the way it was built in the first place. I punted on all the elite quarterbacks. I punted on all the elite running backs, right? I kind of got screwed with the Elijah Mitchell CMC situation. I got saved by Jeff Wilson getting sent out to Miami. Then he had a rough week last week.
You moved Stevenson.
I moved Stevenson, which, ouch, right? But I moved him to get Andrews. Leonard Fournette is in a 50-50 split now. That's ugly, right? So, like...
And you know how much we don't like our 50-50 splits.
We don't like 50-50 splits at all. So it's tough. I'm in a rough position in every other position on the roster, except wide receivers and tight ends. So
which is a good one. And the good news is you're in a tight end premium league with 2 tight ends, the top 2 tight ends. So you definitely have some thinking to do, and
I could move one of them.
I'm sure you could definitely move one of them. And like I said, I think you're at that point where you might as well move Kelsey, get yourself as many pieces as you can.
The thing is, everybody's going to throw the age game at me, and I'm not.
That's true.
I'm not doing that.
But then again, okay, let's say you move Andrews. Okay, Kelsey has 1 year left in him. What do you do after that?
I have Andrews. What you mean? Like if I move
Andrews? If you move Andrews instead, because he's a little younger, so they can't hit you with age. And then you have Kelsey, but he's only good for just that year.
There's more moves to be made, you know. If I have 1 more year of Kelsey, then I blow it up after that. Literally, the team rides on
age again.
Huh? Yeah, but if somebody's buying Kelsey, it's not somebody who's not looking to win, right? So obviously, I'm getting Kelsey for like probably the 112 or the 111 in the rookie draft. But you make that kind of have to do what you got to do. You make your moves. You do a first round pick and maybe a young player that you believe in that underperforms, something like that, and then hope that they kind of break out their second season. For example, I could have probably gotten Kelsey moved for Jalen Hurts in a first last year.
Yep.
Would have been feeling pretty nice if I had Jalen Hurts in the 112. That's like Jalen Hurts and George Pickens, if I'm stretching that far, or Jalen Hurts and some other.
Yeah, it just depends because George Pickens was
second round pick and stuff.
Second round pick. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you kind of have to look at. You have to take those shots, and it'll look ugly on paper at first, but it is what it is. You just kind of got to do what you got to do. But yeah, if I make it to the playoffs, it's Aaron Rodgers and all my positional players, and hopefully they can run the table. But there's some big dogs in there, and we'll see how it goes. I kind of felt lucky with the matchup. The guy who I'm playing is technically tanking, but I think he still has a shot to beat me now, especially with Devontae Adams folded. So
yeah, Derek Carr gave me a smooth 4 points.
Sweet.
So I mean, I'm not really competing anyways, but any hopes that I did have, that didn't help.
Yeah, still hurts. I think we need to revisit how this week goes on the next one, and see how many teams make it to the playoffs. I think all your teams are going to make it to the playoffs except one, right? Because you're like,
I gave up on one of them.
Yeah,
you got it. Gods of War,
Glory. Yeah, my division is neck and neck. I'm literally playing the guy. If I beat this guy and beat the median, I go to the playoffs.
Really? No,
if I beat him and then we both hit the median, he goes. And if I beat him, he misses the median, I go. It's super tight. Yeah.
That's the. I mean, no, I'm doing awful in that league. I took a lot of chances in that draft. That was kind of I didn't intend it to be this way, but it was kind of like my experimental one. I took a lot of the high end guys that people were really high on, but it hasn't been like super proven. So I took like the Cortland Sutton. I took like the Michael Pittman. I took the Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston.
That sounds ridiculous.
Zach Wilson.
Ooh, that sounds ugly.
Yeah, that's my team.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore.
Do you ever win?
You do,
obviously.
Yeah.
Not
I don't. I do have Austin Eckler. That's about it.
That's
about it.
That's all you really need sometimes. Yeah.
I think my RB2. I took Leonard Fournette. No, I don't know. It's an awful team, pretty much. So yeah, bump that team. I gave up in it. I set my lineup and then I call it a day. I don't even look at waivers. I don't care. I'm done. Anyways,
though, you got winner take all, which you're top of the world.
I'm second. I still can't believe that one dude is first. His name's Unforgiven. His team has been balling, and I'm sorry, but I think he's an idiot. But I'm just gonna be real. I think he is. When I've been talking to him, I'm surprised he's number one. But good for him. I'm just every time I talk to him, this man was trying to give me what was it? I was giving him Swift. I forgot the trade. I should pull it up, but it was awful. And ever since then, I'm like, nah, he's an idiot. Then Black and Yellow.
Yeah,
I'm number one.
Bananas in that.
Number one. Doesn't matter though because Mr. Chris is on his way. And then KickNPost Dino. I guess I could still make it in.
6-6 or 7? No, are you 6-7 or 7-6?
I think I'm 7-6.
So you're right there with me. But can you point out to the viewers at home what my 7-6 team, where it ranks in terms of points scored? I hate being that guy, but
yeah, I'm 7-6.
It's honestly crazy. Like this, obviously, I've had other situations. I had one team where I was the highest scoring team in the league, and I missed the playoffs. This one, I'm at least in the mix. You don't really have to show them, but you could just say.
I will, anyways. So you won't be able to see it, but
for the
just
camera?
for the sake. Now this man has the 2081, and the next person is 2049. I'm not even talking in the mic. Sounds like a 40 difference right there. And the next person after that is 2029.
Oh,
and then we are no longer in the 2000s. So
where are the other 2000 people at?
And then
because we know I'm fighting for a playoff spot, but where's the other 2000 scorers at? I know one of them is number 1.
One of them is number 1, and then the next one is number 3.
Oh, that's good. So in reality, I should be somewhere in that mix, right? Like second, or based on points scored, you would expect. Oh, dang. Isn't there somebody that's like in second with 1,800 points or something like that?
Yes.
That's man. Isn't that crazy? Just crazy.
The thing is you're not even. Let me count this up. Dude.
I'm not even the most scored against. It's literally like
Yeah, you're like 4th on that.
Like last week, I scored 149. That would be 7 out of 10 teams. No, that would be actually like 9 out of 12 teams.
Oh wait, no, I'm looking at me. No, you're up there.
Yeah, I'm getting.
I'm looking at my number. I'm like, yeah, I'm like 4th or 5th. That's not too bad. And I'm like, hey, what do you need to complain about, Amal? But then I looked over at your number, and yours is like 100 more than mine. Yeah, you're at 1917. Next person up is 1994. Man, tough for you, coach. Feel bad.
That's okay. He's not even putting up.
Oh, and then 100 DJ had 1938. So you were 3rd in points against. Hey,
that's nice.
Winning at something.
Yeah,
let's go.
First in points scored, 3rd.
Oh.
Now, if I don't make the playoffs, I've threatened to delete the league. I won't, but
I don't mind.
It leaves a lot.
I don't mind if we start over.
I'm trying to get the 3rd place. That's what my shooting.
That's
what I'm shooting for.
We definitely gotta do another dynasty next year.
I'm down to start.
Because I'm so mad about this dynasty league. I hate my team.
We'll do a Teal and Steel dynasty league.
Yeah, we should. We should, and we invite. We could do more. We could still do like a competitive one. Maybe get the same guys if you want. But
yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, so something kind of. I finally know something, and I have guys that I like, and I'm like, I didn't know who they were. And that's my fault. That's my fault, on me. But it still sucks. Like Chris Olave. I've told you this. I'm so high on Chris Olave right now, so high. And I would have taken him if I was anywhere where I was right now. After I watched him play like week 3 or week 4, I was like, yeah, he's like that.
I mean, that's the thing though. You have to go back to week 3 and week 4. This is preseason.
Of not knowing him at all.
Oh.
I didn't know him at all. I knew of him. I saw people take him. The first time I ever even seen him play on the field, week 3, I think I watched the game. I don't know exactly what week, but it was one of the weeks. And I saw the fundamentals. Look, I get...
That's your thing.
I get orgasmic when I see fundamentals.
You get orgasmic over a few things. It's kind of nuts.
But no, like some wide receiver, good route running, deception, good hands.
Deception? That's what gets you? You like some liars.
But anyway, so yeah, I like Chris Olave a lot. I would have taken some younger guys. Oh, man. Yeah, so we definitely got to do another one next year.
I'm down.
For sure.
Unfortunately, this rookie class isn't shaping up to be too great. A lot of guys are entering the transfer portal instead of like entering the draft, which kind of expected to be the new wave with the NIL stuff. So that's something that I need to talk about too at some point. That how much that's just going to change the landscape of college football and the NFL. Guys aren't exiting as quickly. I feel like if they don't get that first round draft tag, when they go up to the scouts. But yeah, we'll see. Obviously, there's always guys who you don't see coming, unless you're like a deep college football fan, like you watch really closely. Like Damian Pierce's of the world. Unless you were a UF guy, you probably weren't seeing Damian Pierce before that. Or a couple years ago, I predicted the Elijah Mitchell stuff because I was like deep in my watching guys tape and watching analysis on guys. But there'll be guys like that again.
I predicted Justin Jefferson.
We already have our guy.
Who?
For the pod. We already have our guy that we're rooting for on the podcast.
Oh, yeah, we do.
You don't remember.
A.T. Perry.
Yeah, you better remember.
How would you think I won't remember that? Yeah, it's like Octavius, no.
Atorian Perry.
Torian
Prescott. Which he probably got adopted if his last name's Perry now.
You know, I think that might be what... But I remember... Sorry to talk about his family, but I remember, like, his... I guess it could have been his adopted parents. Maybe, I don't know. But I remember seeing his parents.
Yeah.
So, at least his mom. I remember seeing his mom for sure. But, you know, things could happen.
He got remarried or something. And
remarried.
He decided that that's his, you know. Well, that's the guy. No matter where he goes in the draft. I'm on board with Perry.
And if we do a Teal and Steel, you got to be for sure.
You're going to have to beat me to the punch because I love his game. I don't care
that he's your boy. I was the one that knew him.
I don't care that he's your boy. You didn't even know he was playing college football. That's disappointing.
Okay.
On your part.
Okay. So?
I've been watching this kid for like 2 years.
I've talked to him. Verbally.
I don't care.
Face.
I've been watching this man's game for over 2 years.
I've
hyped about him entering the draft for over 2 years.
Talked to his mom.
That's cool. And you didn't know he played
college football. We've won games.
You said, "Oh, is he good?" And I quote,
"Is he like in college football levels?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Pace High School. Not Pace High School. Pace Little League.
Yeah, he's like that. Sleeping. You have to fight me for a tape, especially if he gets drafted to the Jags. Oh, it's over.
Okay. You know what? No. You know, honestly, if he gets drafted to the Jags, I'll probably have like a cutoff point, and if you take him, I'm happy for you. I really would be. If he got drafted by the Jags, any other team, if you take him, I'll be pissed off. Okay.
What if he gets drafted by Cincinnati?
So.
Okay. Probably love that. You're a Joe Burrow fan anyway, so.
Oh, you're talking about like a rival? No.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I like Lamar Jackson. Okay, when Lamar leaves and goes somewhere else, yeah. After Ravens, I like Lamar Jackson, so I don't hate the Ravens.
He's gonna be on the Dolphins next year. Anyway,
there's no way they invested too much.
That's the move.
They invested way too much.
I've said it before. I'm saying it here again to all the people who
they invested.
I might even drop this as a clip. 2023. Yeah, 2023. Starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
What do I be telling y'all?
Lamar Jackson.
He gets too cute with shit.
That's all.
He gets too cute.
That's the ending point. Hey,
all the signs have shown that Tua is the guy.
I'm clipping it. 2023 Miami Dolphins.
He gets too cute.
If Tua falls in the playoffs and Lamar walks, he's going home. I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in to Teal and Steel, episode 12. This has been Amal Thompson, Matthew Avila. Thank y'all for tuning in. 419 subscribers now. It's only like 3 months since the last time we recorded. But it's cool.
Hey,
come with more UFC content. Said that last time. Haven't posted one since. And more Teal and Steel. But thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
Bye. Good timing.